moment I started my career, I realized that no matter what, no matter how the industry moves on, no matter whatever it happens to IT sector, the least impacted group will be the DBAs. Why? Because even though something the project roll back, they want to roll back something, they want to shut down something, or if they want to decommission something, first they have to shut down the application, followed by the database. So, so it's actually the database is a field where it stands long.
I think with how valuable data is today, this job role is evergreen and it's going to be valuable for a very long time. Hello and welcome to Thapar Summer School podcast. I'm Lakshita Aggarwal, your host for today. I'm really excited to speak with someone whose work lies at the heart of how large systems scale, stay secure, and stay online. Our guest today is Mr. Naga Bellamkonda, a senior database administrator and cloud engineer with over 15 years of experience in his field. From managing mission critical databases to automating cloud infrastructure, the man's done it all. Today, we'll explore what it truly takes to get into this career and what should students expect if they wish to enter database and cloud roles. Hello, sir. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Lakshita. Thank you. Thank you for having me here today. And I'm very glad to share my experience and to talk about some useful conversation with you.
So thank you for joining us. Everyone's looking forward to hearing you today. Before we get started, I want to quickly ask, do you remember the first moment or perhaps project that made you realize that you wanted to stick to this field for the long run?
Back in 2008, when I finished my master's in computers, I'm the first student. I'm the first student in my class got a job. So I was placed some MNC that time. My first client was the UK client. I got like more than 95% in Oracle. Since I got highest, like best marks in the database, so I was started my career as a DBA. Initially, I started as junior DBA in Oracle administration. The highest satisfaction any DBA can achieve is like when the database is performing too good. In the real world, even milliseconds, even 5 seconds delay also it matters a lot to the business. And those days there is no question of cloud. It's back 16, 17 years back. Databases running all on-premise traditional data centers.
Let's get started with today's questions now. First, can we start by you describing your role and the work that you do as a senior database administrator?
I worked in different clients. I worked for the banking app, US mortgage, financial sector. But irrespective of the mode of business, my job is to just design and maintain the databases, whether they are running in traditional data center or in the cloud. My day-to-day activities involves, I work closely with architects and developers to make sure data flows securely and efficient. But I also plan for scale. What if whether it is like 1,000 user hit, because like how the application and database integrate, and the database capacity planning involves what kind of application it is and how many users are going to hit the database. So accordingly, we have to plan. And I often one of the first people called to figure out what happened and how to fix it fast when the downtime started happening. Landscape is drastically changing, and if you say that I'm a DBA and my skill set is just Oracle or Postgres or only backend, no, it's not going to work anymore like that. You need to make your hands dirty in different technologies. You need to know like the networking, the Oracle, and cloud basics. Everything you need to master in order to fulfill your DBA job. And nowadays, you see the different titles: database reliability engineer, DevOps engineer, platform engineer. Those roles that extend traditional DBA responsibilities to include automation, reliability, observability, DevSec operations, network engineer, um, cloud operations engineer. Those roles all extended what we do as a DBA. We need to enhance skills and we need to cope up according to the market.
As someone very new to this, now, can you explain what is the scope of this industry and what lies at the heart of it?
See, everywhere it is like computerized, and everybody is no more managing a physical things, right? Physical files or anything. So, in order to do any sort of work, whether it is e-commerce or it is like food delivery app or even a financial mortgage or a banking sector, anything, everybody has to, at the end of the day, has to work through application. So the scale of business, the mode of business, or the application, it's kind of a never ending. But only every decade, the technology has been changing, evolving into different shapes. Now, after everybody started learning, a lot of engineers are producing from everywhere, and there is a lot of competition. So, what you can be standouts when compared to others is always when you adapt according to the market and changing technology, adapting yourself and eagerness to learn and try to. Nowadays, everybody is talking about AI. So AI and AI, because of AI, number of jobs are reducing in the market. But if you start developing your skill and if you start evolving according to the market demands, definitely always there will be a good opportunity. And it doesn't matter whether how many years of experience you have. It's all about how fresh you can think. There is an entrance, few folks join in our project, and within no time, they are as good as experienced folks. They always try to share something new, which even we can, because they are the fresh brains, they get the fresh ideas always. Always try to learn, always try to think different. That's what it always matters.
I think that really puts it all into perspective and what we should expect from the industry as well as what we should expect from ourselves in the industry. Now, moving a little to students, I think if someone were to get into cloud or infrastructure roles, what would you recommend that they start learning today?
It all depends, but nowadays we need to make a good foundation. Let's say if you want to towards cloud, okay, what are the leading cloud platforms that we have available in the market? One is AWS and the other is Azure. Those are the major contributors. AWS is like 70 to 75%, whereas 20 to 25% Azure, and the rest is minimal is Oracle or the other. Start with cloud skills and what are the tools that are available in the market? Linux. And because most of the cloud systems and servers runs on Linux. So learn some basic commands, file structure permission, also learn network basics. What is DNS? What is firewall? How the protocol works, encryption in the real world works. In real world, most of the industries uses SSL, in transit encryption. How does it work? You don't have to be a master and you don't have to worry too much about the technology. Whatever you learn, just start from basics, make your foundation strong by understanding the how it works. And so you should think, you should question yourself. If I'm trying to understand the firewall, okay, how it works in the real world? What is the firewall? What firewall does? And what are the ports? What is the application? How is that is going to integrate with the firewall? What firewall protects from the outside attacks, phishing? Try to do some certification that gives you some momentum. Try to understand theoretically what is the service related to the database. That's called relational database service, RDS. What are the flavors in the database? Postgres, like MySQL, and Redshift, DynamoDB. In what scenario we use RDS Postgres, and what is the difference between Postgres and the Oracle and the DynamoDB? Just try to learn some basics, the differentiation and scenarios. Why application has to pick certain specific flavor of the database? It depends on the functionality of the application, number of user hits.
That's understandable. Also, you mentioned certifications right now. So, what certification should student prefer in that scenario, like for a better theoretical grasp of the concept?
Certification alone will not sufficient, but I would just recommend cloud practitioner or some basic database practitioner, and whatever the cloud offers, basic skills or cloud certified associate, AWS certified associate. As a beginner, like you just start with the certified associate or something like that. Even networking. At the end of the day, in the cloud world, you need to know everything, at least the basics.
Another thing I want to ask you is that students are often concerned with what projects they should make. Are there any impressive projects that come across, student level ones, in your career that you really liked and you think students should try building those?
They started building some interesting application in the cloud. It doesn't make any cost. Cloud offers free service to certain tiers of easy to machines using whatever the free tiers and with bare minimal cost. One of our intern, he developed a weather tracking app by using Lambda S3, DynamoDB, the APIs, and it stores the data in DynamoDB, and it visualizes the trends with the charts as well. Or a book learning system, the for our campus, I would recommend the real time updates, or a classroom timetable app, or a personal financial tracker. Try to develop something using cloud services that helps you to get familiar.
Okay, sir. So,
Yeah.
beyond technical, what soft skills or qualities have you found as most valuable during your career?
Especially for tech roles, the soft skills are very, very much needed. Doesn't matter how technically you sound, I would say the communication is very, very important. Whether you are writing a Teams message or a Slack message, a status update, or a quick document, the ability to explain what you are doing in simple terms is incredibly valuable. You don't need to be a public speaker, just clear and structured. If you can describe a bug or explain your project in just 3, 4 sentences, you are already ahead of the curve. And also taking the ownership, and it will give you the confidence if you are able to communicate properly. In my earlier days, I fixed an issue where one of the SQL is taking time to complete. It is running like 15 minutes. We were able to make it to finish it in 2 minutes. It gives a lot of benefit to the organization. They were able to save money. But if you don't properly present that, it's more than $1 million overall impact. Soft skills plays a major role, no matter how technical you good.
So, now I like to get a bit into your work practice. When you're deciding on what database to choose for a project, what factors are you looking at?
It's based on the nature of the application, whether it is an OLTP application or a data warehouse related application, number of user hits, what is the workload daily, and what size it is. Let's say if your application related to something massive data loads and it's analytical basis. So usually we recommend it going to the Redshift. Redshift is a good option in the cloud for the data analytics point of view. If it is an OLT application, we recommend to choose Postgres.
So, most students usually start with MySQL or Oracle in their colleges. So, are they still company relevant right now?
They are relevant, but when you move to cloud, along with Oracle MySQL, there are other flavors, Oracle SQL and Netizen. Now, when it comes to the cloud, you have DynamoDB, Redshift, MySQL, SQL MI, Oracle, Postgres, and Aurora Postgres. Postgres is like open source, Aurora Postgres is AWS version. Oracle is robust. No database can match Oracle performance in the real world. Because of the licensing cost, the customers are moving out of Oracle. That is the only reason. Else, Oracle is unbeatable, unmatchable in terms of performance. So Oracle provides a lot of options based on the current trend. Most of the customers are moving out because they same effort we can achieve in smaller chunks. At the end of the day, cost matters. If you learn the database foundation skills, architecture, if you know how to drive an ambassador car, you can drive any car.
Yes, sir. So, now bringing AI into the picture, how has AI impacted your work currently? Were you able to automate some tasks and job roles maybe?
AI and automation have transformed a lot what we do as a database administrator. So it helps us to move from reactive firefighting to proactive management. In my work, actually, I have automated several tasks like routine maintenance tasks, performance monitoring, alerting, security compliance checks, query optimization suggestions, incident response automation. But automation is not just about replacing DBAs, it's about amplifying our impact. By automating the routine and repetitive, we free up time to focus on strategic tasks. It's not just like that AI is coming and doing everything. We can automate using AI. As I said, earlier days, we have to write scripting to automate monitoring, health check. Now, by using AI, we free up our time just to focus on more innovation, solving complex problems. I encourage students to think about automation early. It's a powerful skill that makes you more effective engineer and a valuable team member. Automation increases your chance of getting picked up. So try to automate something. Take a cloud service, try to write down some code and trigger it through Lambda. See, there is no limit. Earlier days, if you want to write something, it is cost effective thing. You need to spin up virtual machine. You need to have a robust machine. And nowadays, cloud offers 30 days free trial. Try to create virtual VPC. How VPC works, what are the components that involved, what is subnet group, what is security group, how you can filter the access. So those are all things that you can try to explore the services and try to automate. You don't have to automate whole system. Try to automate small things. And from there onwards, you can just extend your skills. I would say as of now, the AI impact in the industry is replacing the routine work. And if the person is not upgrading his skill set and is just simply depending on the day-to-day activities only, it is not going to work anymore because AI can do afford that. What makes you stand out from others is think different.
So you've already told us that routine roles are being replaced and that's how AI is impacting your work. I find your work in automating security patching very interesting. Explain how that works and what exactly is a CI/CD pipeline and how do you use it in your work?
So it's not automating the patch, it's about automating the deployments. CI/CD pipeline is for the deployments by using continuous integration. Are you familiar with Git and how Git repository works? Let's say if the code changes, that leads to streamline the process deployments. Let's say if some developer want to change something in the code, and if you are managing the version control, it is easy to manage across the board. Developers deploy in the non-production. But when it comes to the production, once the code merges to the master branch, which means it is final. So it is ready to deploy in the production, which is less error prone when you are managing CI/CD pipeline. If you want to go back to certain version, it's easy. You can automate CI/CD pipelines through Jenkins job. It's easy to manage the code if you are using CI/CD pipeline.
So if were to implement this in their own projects, do you think it would give them an edge in their projects?
Nowadays, it's a basic skill set using CI/CD. Whether you are a developer, you are a DBA, you are a cloud infrastructure engineer, these become like an essential skill set. But in the context of security patching, it's about automating the process of testing, validating, applying patches to database or servers in a controlled and repeatable way. When a new security patch or update is released, it gets integrated into a version control system like a Git. The continuous integration that's called CA runs automated test against this patch in a staging or a testing environment, verifying that the patch doesn't break existing functionality, checking database connectivity, and running some security checks. Once the testing and everything is done, every company certifies that patch and it communicates to all the teams. This continuous CD pipeline automatically applies the patch to the production databases during a scheduled maintenance window, minimizing downtime and human error. By doing that, you can achieve the consistency. Every patch is applied the same way, reducing risks of mistakes and the speed. You don't have to wait for manual approval or at every step. So patches gets applied faster. And if something goes wrong, it is always you can go back. That's called rollbacking. The pipeline can automatic rollbacks.
I think that clears it. How do you deal with unexpected downtimes and incorporate recovery into your databases?
This is one of my strong field, especially when it comes to database. Disaster recovery is one thing that always you need to be ready. You always need to prepare for what if worst happens. When I prepare database for disaster recovery, I focus on three key pillars always: backup, replication, and testing. If a company X company is operating, let's say one data center in UR, so it's another data center in Chicago. So if one data center completely shuts down, how you are going to, with minimal downtime, how you are going to start its operations from the other data center, which is located in Chicago. Such a minimal downtime is by maintaining a good backups. The first line of defense is regular automated backups. So depending on the database, this could be the full backups or incremental backups. The idea is to minimize data loss by having recent copies of your data. So how you are going to minimize that impact? By enabling replication. So which is for high availability. In production, I usually set up, everybody sets up replication for all the production databases, which means copying data from the primary database to one or more standby databases, which locates in other different data center, different region. This helps if the primary database goes down, the standby can take over quickly. Route 53 is like a seamless operation. In real world, every year, each company does that, which is called DR testing. So backups and replications are not enough to maintain. We regularly do recovery drills, restoring backup to a test center to verify data integrity and everything. That's how we achieve disaster recovery.
I think that's giving us an idea of how it works over there.
Yes, even there is failover automation, geographical redundancy. So it all depends. There are a lot of features that cloud is offering, AWS is offering, or Azure is offering. So there are certain applications where they can't afford downtime. There are certain applications where they can afford downtime, like with let's say 2 hours outage, 3 hours outage. If you pay additional, it all incurs additional charges.
I think I understand a little bit since I'm not very well versed in it, but thank you for telling us that.
Sure.
Another thing that I want to ask you is that you mentioned automation has helped you a lot and you've incorporated very deeply into your work. So, any new roles do you see emerging in the field in the next few years that students should look out for?
Yes, definitely. There is a possibility. AI and automation have transformed a lot. Even we do as a database administrator, we need to upgrade our skill set to cope up the changing world, especially in terms of AI. A lot of industries are expecting to know the AI agent development skills. So that is one thing that in the future, a lot of manpower required. There are a lot of huge data centers are started building in US especially for to accommodate this AI infrastructure. And to maintain the AI infrastructure itself, there is a lot of manpower is required. Not only building AI agents, but also maintaining the AI infrastructure. Let's say site engineers or network specialists or architects, cloud engineers, AI agent developers, especially. So definitely these are the roles that you can expect in the future.
Okay, I think I get an idea. So, if you were to go back and talk to your younger self again, what advice would you be giving yourself if you had to start again?
That's such an important question. Becoming a senior database administrator or cloud database engineer is a journey that takes patience, continuous learning, and a genuine passion for technology. So what I would advise is build a strong foundation. Whatever the way that you choose, let's say if you want to move towards AI or if you want to move towards an infrastructure engineering, start with mastering the fundamentals. If let's say if you want to choose databases, how database works, what is relational database, what is SQL, what is data modeling, and understanding how databases actually work under the hood. This Always question yourself when you read something, any concept. Try to question yourself and try to find a solution for it. That's called building a strong foundation. And theory is important, but nothing beats hands-on experience. So set up your own database, spin up something, whatever the service that you like in the cloud. Try to do some automation. Experiment with backups, experiment with replication, or try to tune a SQL query. Let's say if you just create a dummy table, select star from table, it works fine as long as there are limited number of records. What if you keep on dumping millions of records? The same SQL won't work if the data keeps growing. So you should think like, why? So what extra additional features are required? You need to have an index in the book. The same way the table also needs an index. Try to learn basics. That always keeps you good. Try to understand the architecture. Whatever you learn, whatever the topic, whatever the service that you learn, always try to learn the architecture first. Build a strong foundation. Stay curious, keep learning, and develop soft skills. Focus on architecture. When I started my career, I spent a lot of time in understanding the database architecture. Once you learn the architecture, once you understand the basic things, that no matter how many versions the database releases, the fundamentals, the architecture remains same. Only the features enhances. So that's where you need to start with.
So thank you for telling us everything that you've told us today. It's really exciting to hear this, and it's incredibly insightful. You've been a
Yeah.
really great speaker throughout, and you've made it so easy for us to understand and get interested in this field that I'm sure a lot of students are going to benefit from this, and they're going to
Yeah.
get interested and curious to learn, like you said. So thank you for being here today, and thank you for the time and joining us today.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Lakshita. Thank you for having me here and giving me the opportunity to share my experience. I hope you guys can grab something out of it.